song. It's the finest country round, it's the best one we have found.
And we're happy in our home in Arkansas. Here's a pretty valley where the grass is always green, and the waters from the Ozark Mountains flow, where the mockingbird he sings and the glory music rings in our happy little home in Arkansas.
Why don't you set a spell and get your breath, Mary?
Don't you worry about me, Judge.
But you've been at it hammering tongs all day.
That's right, you have, and it isn't right. You do enough of this kind of work for a living without working so hard for nothing. Oh, you know what the judge says. The thing that makes Peaceful Valley more than just a name is everybody pulling together.
And nobody takes it to heart more than you do, Mary. Nobody.
He's right. Now, you sit down a while. I'll get some clean water. Well, for heaven's sakes, ain't that Tom coming down the street?
Tom?
Tom? Oh. Why, Tom. Who is it? Who is it? Who? Tell me, who is it?
That's Tom, all right.
Sure is.
He's been out the house already 'cause he's riding Trigger.
He wasn't supposed to get here till tomorrow.
Well, maybe this is tomorrow.
This is today. Tomorrow never comes.
Well, then how'd Mr. Tom get here?
What?
Let's go meet him.
That's an idea. Come on.
Say, hurry up. I can't let him see me like this. I'm going home and dress.
Well, it's in all right.
It is, well.
Hello, Aunt Ellie.
Hello, Tom.
We didn't expect you till tomorrow.
No.
I couldn't stay away any longer.
Well, good for you.
Well, hello, Miss Neal.
So you're a full-fledged lawyer now, eh, Tom?
Yes, sir, the best lawyer that's never tried a case yet, mister.
The boy sure looks fine, doesn't he, Ma? Yes, sir.
Hello, Tom.
Well, Hetty Houston.
Welcome home.
Gee, that's some welcome.
Well, I got one for you, too, Mr. Tom.
Here. What do you think this is, a game of post office? Oh, Tom, it's so good to see you.
Where's Maggie?
Well, she was here just a minute ago.
Oh, there she goes in your buggy, Mrs. Weaver.
Oh, there she goes.
Well, I gotta say hello to her. I'll see you all later. Hey, Maggie! Maggie! Hey, Maggie! Hey! Hey! Wait for me! It's Tom! Wait for me, Maggie!
Go away. Go away.
What's the matter with you? I've been away for 5 years. Aren't you glad to see me?
No, that is not right now. What do you mean by coming home a day ahead of time?
I wanted to surprise you.
Well, I don't like surprises.
Same little Spitfire Maggie. Haven't changed a bit, have you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And don't you dare say I haven't.
Well, on second thought, I can see a little difference.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. Your face is dirtier.
Oh.
There, that ought to hold it. Now turn around, let me see. Oh, that's fine. You do look super-ditty gorgeous, Miss Margaret.
Do you think Tom will see the change in me now?
Well, if he don't, he's got the blind staggers. Oh, here, put some of my stinkum on. It's called Breath of the Nile. Guaranteed to make a Cleopatra out of any girl that uses it, and a Mark Anthony out of any guy that smells it.
Ooh, not so much, Viola.
Listen now, you're going to have a lot of competition, and I'm going to make sure that you not only outlook them, but outsmell them.
Where's my coat?
It's over on the bed. No hat, huh?
No. Where's everybody?
Well, your folks are waiting down the buggy, and Tom's in the hall.
Good. I want Tom to be alone when he first sees me.
I know what you mean. Hope he spends as much time looking at you as we did getting you ready to look at.
Am I all right?
Oh, you look just like a queen, Miss Margaret. Just like a queen.
Hurry up, Maggie. Everybody's waiting. Won't you ever grow up? You ought to know better than to try to slide down a banister in a dress like that.
I didn't mean to do it. I tripped over my coat. Oh, it's all your fault anyway. Where's my bag? Oh, here it is. Never mind. Come on, come on.
Good evening, Melville. Good evening, sir. Step right in.
Evening, Alders.
Well, glad to see you, Judge.
Howdy.
Evening, folks.
You
Evening.
remember Tom Martell, my foster son?
Of course. Glad to see you back, Tom.
Sure glad to be back, Mr. Houston. How's the banking business?
Olga's still getting his pound of flesh.
Where's Hetty?
Oh, she's home, Primpert. Took so long I came on ahead.
The boys are queuing up. I guess we better go in.
Oh, yeah, go right ahead. Good evening, Mary. Good evening.
Everybody. Good evening, folks.
Working as usual, I see, Mary.
Oh, I'm happiest when I'm working, Judge. I believe you are. Did you get any rest today? Yes, I did, thanks.
Howdy, Cousin Ellie.
Well, Cousin Amy, bless my soul, I was wondering if you was going to be here tonight. Who's that you got with you?
This is Junior. Take off your hat.
Junior. Well, land sakes, he sure has grown up.
Yeah, this past year he's been sprouting like a weed. Almost getting too big for his britches.
Yeah, I noticed.
Ain't you gonna give your Aunt Ellie a kiss, Junior?
No, I don't want to.
Oh, go on. Don't be so bashful. Kiss your Aunt Ellie. You said you was going to.
Phew. I'll say Junior's growing up.
Friends, before we start this celebration, I'd like to make a little speech.
Go right ahead, Judge. We're listening.
40 years ago, when I come to this valley, there wasn't anything here but brush and trees and grass. But that wasn't all I saw when I looked at it. No, sirree. I saw a place where people could live in peace and harmony, and in accordance with the teachings of the Lord, especially his 9th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thanks to you folks, you made that dream come true. So today, we have a right to feel lighthearted and happy, because this is sure enough Peaceful Valley.
Gee, Mag, it's great to be back. Things haven't changed a bit.
Oh, yes, they have.
What?
Well, for one thing, most people call me Margaret now.
Never mind, you'll always be little Maggie to me.
Why, Tom,
Aunt Ellie's going to sing a song.
Oh, come all you good people, a story I will tell about a maid they called Naomi Wise. Her face was fair and handsome, she was loved by everyone. In Randolph County now her body lies. They say she had a fellow, young Lewis was his name. Each evening he would have her by his side. She learned to love and trust him, and she believed his word, for he told her she was soon to be his bride. One summer's night he met her and took her for a ride. She thought that she was going to be wed. They come to Old Deep River, and so the story goes. You have met your doom, these words the villain said.
The villain said, Hey, I'm stuck. Had he slung her in the river yet or not?
I don't know.
Well, didn't you hear no splash or nothing?
No.
Well, I'm gonna throw her in the river and get it over with. I'm tired of fooling with her.
She begged him just to spare her, but the villain only laughed. They say that he was heartless to the core, and in that stream he threw her below the old mill dam, and sweet Naomi's smile was seen no more. Young people, oh, take warning and listen while I say, you must take care before it is too late. Don't listen to that story some villain's tongue will tell, or you are sure to meet Naomi's fate, Naomi's fate.
No, we'll get more later. Now it's time to dance, so everybody grab your partners.
Dress is what you went to the city for.
Father, don't make a scene.
A scene? You're making a whole show of yourself in that sinful costume. Go home and take it off at once.
Don't be absurd. I got it just for this party.
Will you excuse me, Maggie?
Yes.
Now, either you go...
Oh, Tom, I'm so glad you've come to rescue me. Father was just telling me he didn't like my dress. What do you think of it?
Oh, gee, I think it's a knockout.
There, you see, Father? Shall we dance? Excuse me.
There, honey.
Oh, Mary, I'm so unhappy.
No, there's really nothing to cry about.
Oh, of course there isn't.
You're just as pretty as she is, even if there isn't as much of you showing. The trouble bell.
The trouble bell.
What's going on out here?
What's the trouble? Widow Smithers, what's the matter?
I've been robbed, Judge. That's what's the matter. I've been robbed. Robbed of what? $50. I was just going to bed when I saw it was gone. Well, where in the world would you ever have $50? In my flour barrel. That's where I had it, and that's where it was stole from.
That's kind of hard to believe. We've never had any stealing in Peaceful Valley.
Never did. No.
Well, you've had it now, and I can name you the thief.
Be careful of what you're saying, Widow Smithers.
I know what I'm saying.
Who was it?
It was Mary Schumacher.
She's an honest woman.
Widow Smithers, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. The way Mary Shue comes and works for you for nothing. Sure. She did my bacon today. That's how she got to my flour barrel. Oh,
why? I don't think
Quiet, everybody. Quiet. Are you sure you had the money, Widow Smithers?
Sure I had it. Was left me by my poor dear husband 15 years ago. 5 $10 bills. I counted them regular every Saturday since. Kept them in my flour barrel. And now they've been stole. And Mary Shue stole them.
We'll see.
Yes, we'll see.
Why, Mary Shue's cleaned for me for 20 years, and I never missed a pin.
Mary, were you anywhere near Widow Smithers' flour barrel this afternoon?
Well, sure I were. You can't make bread without you use flour.
See any $10 bills in the barrel?
What'd she be doing with $10 bills? She's as poor as I am.
I had 'em. I had 5 of 'em. And you took 'em.
Me?
Yes, you.
You don't think that, do you, Judge?
Did you, Mary?
No, I didn't.
I knew you didn't. I just wanted to give you a chance to answer in front of all these folks so the matter'd be closed.
The matter ain't closed, Judge. My $50 has been stolen. And there ain't going to be a peaceful day in this valley till somebody pays for it. sweet of you to bring me home, Tom. I had a lovely time.
Well, so did I. Good night, Hetty.
Good night. Oh, Father, you still up?
Yes, I stayed up to talk to you.
Well, it's rather late. Suppose we talk in the morning.
We'll settle this right now. I want to know how you got that dress.
I bought it.
I said you couldn't have it. Refused to give you the money.
I know you did.
And you got it anyway.
But I had to have this dress tonight. I had to. It meant everything to me.
It's liable to mean everything to me, too. Do you realize that you've deliberately jeopardized my position in this community by your selfishness?
My selfishness. Have you ever given a thought to the things I want? Have you ever tried to understand me or how I feel living in this stifling valley?
Hetty.
Has it ever occurred to you that I'm grown up, that I might want to get married?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Who did you think I'd marry? One of these Peaceful Valley clodhoppers?
Hetty!
That might suit you, but not me. I want someone who can take me away from here where I can really live. And that someone is Tom Martell, and I'm going to get him whether you help me or not.
You'll wed another bride. Here, give me some more flour, Viola. Come on, hurry.
Yes'm.
You'll praise her to your manly breast, where mine
Mrs. Weaver! Mrs. Weaver!
Land sakes, what did you do? Fall in?
No. I just figured something out like a detective. Whoever took that money out of the widow's flour barrel would have had flour all over 'em like this. So all you gotta do is find somebody with flour on 'em, and you got the crook.
Honest to goodness, Viola, sometimes I think you was behind the door when the brains was passed out. You don't think the guilty party'd go around and leave all that evidence on 'em, do you?
No, I guess not. Shucks. I sure wish I knew who done it. Say, you don't suppose it was that fella?
Now, I ain't supposing nothing, and suppose you don't suppose nothing neither. That's the way trouble starts.
In Peaceful Valley.
My, it's been a long time since I heard Tom sing that song. You go and get busy with the carpet sweeper. Come on, hurry up.
When village bells ring out at cool eventide, the heart grows warm and so satisfied. In Peaceful Valley, waiting patiently, someone is yearning for me. Through the past I've been a rover. Now at last those days are over. In Peaceful Valley, oh so heavenly, I know I'll find love and
Hetty.
Very pretty, very pretty. But what on earth are you made up for, Tom?
He's helping me. Anything wrong in that?
Why, nothing, dear. Only it is funny to see a man in an apron.
Well, I always thought checks were sort of becoming to me.
More becoming than milk all over your pants.
Oh, you're always so practical, Margaret. I'm sorry you're busy, Tom. I wanted to go for a ride. Now I suppose I'll have to go alone.
Oh, no, we can all go.
Oh, but we can't take Margaret from her work.
We can wait, can it, Maggie?
No, it'll spoil.
It's an awful thing to be torn between butter and pleasure. What shall I do, Maggie?
Oh, go if you'd rather.
Oh, and it's such a lovely day.
You sure you won't mind?
No, of course not.
I'll take good care of him, Margaret.
So long, Maggie.
Come on.
We'll get back pretty soon.
Hello, Cicero.
I'm in here, Cicero. Well, hello, Hello, Cicero. Where you been all morning? Been arguing with Pete? Arguing about what? Hetty Houston? Well, what is you and Pete doing arguing about Hetty Houston? Widow Smithers. How? Tuesday night. You think what? Now, wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You say that you and Pete saw Hetty come sneaking out of the widow's house last Tuesday night? And you think she took the widow's $50? You do? Well, we better tell the judge about this.
Hetty Houston. Hello, is this you, Lucy? Say, you know what I just heard? Promise you won't tell nobody? Oh, well, all right, you can tell him. But tell him not to tell nobody. Well, Cicero came over, and he said...
He thinks it was her that took the widow's $50. Well, what do you think we ought to do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing. We ain't got no proof she's guilty. If we tell folks about this, we'd just be gossiping.
I guess you're right. But it wouldn't surprise me if she was mixed up in it.
Ellie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now remember, what Cicero's seen goes no farther than us three. No false witnessing is still the law in this valley.
I can't tell you who told me, because I promised not to. But it wasn't Mary Shue who stole the widow's money. It was Hetty Houston.
I just can't believe it. Hetty's the last person in the world I'd suspicion. Her pa being the richest man in town and everything.
Well, I've never said this before, but I've always known that he was awful stingy with Hetty.
Not only with Hetty.
Just got the lowdown on that $50 thing. It was Hetty Houston.
Hetty Houston? Moses Pater. What do you know about that?
Here she comes. Here she comes.
And so it was Hetty Houston who stole the money. Hetty Houston? Yep, Hetty Houston.
What was that you said?
Well, there's talk going around that Hetty Houston was seen sneaking away from the widow's house last Tuesday night, and they think she stole the $50.
Well, what do you think?
I wouldn't put it faster.
Any of the rest of you feel the same way?
You've got a tongue like the tail on Cicero's dog. It's always wagging.
Well, I didn't mean no harm, Miss Weaver. Honest, I didn't.
But look at all the trouble you caused.
Oh!
You know what it means to be deaf, dumb, and blind?
Yes.
Do you? Well, that's what you better be from now on. Now get that dustpan and go to work. Did you hear me? I said go to work. Oh, for heaven's sakes. And if there's any blabbing tonight at that community social, that's what I'll do. And I'll do it, too. Here's your broom.
I don't know who it was, but I'll bet you...
I'll bet my bottom dollar it was Mary Shue. That's ridiculous. Anybody with a lick of sense knows it was that Hetty. Howdy, Judge.
Good evening.
Guess we better go inside. Guess so.
I don't know. I'm not...
Good evening, Judge.
Hello, Mary.
Hello. Good evening. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Maggie.
Thought you were bringing Hetty.
Well, she had a headache.
Oh.
We'll start off as usual with a song.
Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life.
Come on, folks, and let's sing.
Well, we don't feel like it, Judge.
Well, that's all the more reason why you should. Anybody can sing if they feel like it, but it's when you're upset it does you the most good. Now, come on, sing.
Elvire's right. Now, come on, everybody, let's sing.
It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if you keep on the sunny side of life. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though you meet with the darkness inside, the sunny side may also find you. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life.
That's more like it. A lot more like it. You're late, August.
I didn't come here to sing, Abner, but to call a meeting of the church board.
Church board? Can't it wait?
I'm afraid not. This is important.
Well, all right. Members of the board will adjourn to the meeting room.
Oh, I'm sorry I had to interrupt the way I did, but Dr. Temple felt that we ought to call this meeting in a hurry.
Why, yes. After you called my attention to the fact that our community is indulging in unchristian gossip.
Wasn't necessary to call your attention. It's obvious enough.
That's right. It's just as plain as the gravy on Needle's vest.
Now, as president of the church board, I'd like to offer a solution.
Go ahead and salute.
Well, my idea is that we quiet the widow Smithers by giving her $50 from the church fund. What do you think of the idea, Judge?
It's cheap enough. It works.
Why, of course it'll work. And I'd like to have someone put it in the form of a motion.
I'll make that motion with a little amendment. I move that we give the widow Smithers $50 from the church fund and punish Mary Shoemaker.
Punish her for what?
For stealing. And we should take away her membership in the church.
No, sir. Not on your tin type.
I agree with the judge. Why, Mary Shoemaker has given the widow 100 times $50 worth of work and never gotten one penny for it.
Spoken like an honest man.
What I mean to say is that she had every right to feel that money belonged to her. Now, my suggestion would be to have the church board pardon her officially.
The board pardoning Mary Shue would be convicting her.
That's right, August. You can't pardon folks for something they ain't done. And the whole town knows that Mary Shue ain't guilty.
Yes, and the whole town's talking about my daughter.
That don't make Hetty guilty either.
Are you implying that she might be?
Not a bit. I don't hold with implying.
Well, you must believe somebody's guilty, or you wouldn't be willing to pay that money out of the church fund.
That's your own suggestion, August.
Oh, then you imply I made it to cover up my daughter?
Stop that implying. I don't give two hoots if Hetty was seen coming out of Widow Smithers' house or not.
Ah, but you're willing to repeat the gossip that she was seen there, and that amounts to an accusation.
The judge ain't accusing Hetty, but if you want to take it that way, you're welcome.
We'll take a vote on Mr. Beaudry's motion.
Do you withdraw that amendment to punish Mary Shue?
I do not.
All those in favor, raise your right hands. And I see it isn't necessary to call on the opposed. Afternoon, Martin.
Hello, August.
Well, I hope I'm not interrupting your, work.
Oh, not at all. I mean,
visualizing a new layout.
Hmm? When are you getting out the next issue of the weekly?
Next issue? Why, my last issue is just about a month old. And look, most of the folks ain't come in to get their copies yet.
Well, they'll get the next one, all right, because you're delivering it to them personally tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, I can't get the paper out by then.
Funny thing, I met a young fellow in the city the other day who had a great plan for getting out the weekly every week.
Hey, how come you were discussing my paper with him?
Oh, I guess maybe he found out that I own this building. He must have heard that you're behind in your rent. Wide-awake young fella, too. He'd probably put some life in the paper.
I guess maybe I could get an issue out by Saturday if I worked afternoons.
I said tomorrow.
Well, I gotta round up some news and write an editorial and...
Oh, don't let that worry you. Here. That'll make a good editorial.
Is justice a crime that's committed against... You mean you want me to print this?
Right in the middle of the front page.
Is justice dead in Peaceful Valley? A crime has been committed against one of the most deserving members of our community. The crime of theft. The victim has named the criminal, and all the evidence points to her, yet nothing is done about it. Citizens of Peaceful Valley, are we going to let this guilty person go unpunished? Do you reckon it's true?
Well, Martin never published anything in his paper that wasn't.
Look, it says so right here in the paper.
Yes, I know, but what about Hetty Houston? Cicero's supposed to have seen her sneaking away from the widow's house.
Oh, Cicero. He probably can't say any better than he can talk. You can take my word for it. Mary Shoemaker's guilty, just as sure as I'm a-holding this here apple.
Watch out you don't step in the wet, Miss Neal.
Better let the rest of the floor go, Mary.
Let the floor go half scrubbed?
Well, I'll finish it.
You.
We got to make a change around here, Mr. Neal and I. We got to cut down some. Things ain't going so good with us right now.
Oh, Miss Neal, I'm sorry to hear that.
I owe you $10.
Oh, shucks, Miss Neal, now don't you worry about me. You keep that money for something important. And I'll work for you for nothing till things get straightened out.
No, here's your money. Take it. We won't be needing you anymore.
How do, Miss Wolfson?
Oh, Mary.
Excuse me for interrupting you, but Miss Neal won't be needing me anymore, so I can help you with your preserving like you wanted me to.
Well, I've changed my mind, Mary. I'm not preserving right now.
Oh, but your fruit will spoil.
Well, I mean, I'm going to do it myself.
You mean you won't be needing me anymore?
No, I won't be needing you anymore either.
Evening, folks.
Yes?
Half a dozen eggs and half a pound of butter, please.
Half a dozen eggs and half a pound of butter. Yes. Ethel? Ethel!
Looks like we're in for a spell of fine weather.
Half a dozen eggs. That'll be 2, 4, 6. Half
half a dozen eggs and a half pound of butter. That'll be 38 cents, please. This is a $10 bill.
I know. Miss Neal paid me off this afternoon.
Oh, she did she? $38 from $10. That's 9, 6, 6. Oh. There you are.
Mary,
Oh, good evening, Mrs. Beaudry.
I don't think we can use you anymore. You see, with Ruthie and Alfie getting so big, I really don't need any extra help. Do I owe you anything?
No, you don't owe me nothing. Oh, I almost forgot. Here's the rag doll I promised you, Ruthie.
I don't want it, 'cause you've been bad.
All day it's been. We don't need you no more. I gotta know why. All day, old neighbors, old friends, they don't speak to me no more. Like you all didn't when I come in here. I gotta know why. Now the children are turning against me. I gotta know why.
We hadn't ought to let her go like that.
You stay where you are.
Go on, get out. Go on, get. Go on, get. Get out of here! Get out! I got my money back! I got it back! I got my money back! I got it back! I got my money back! I got it back! I got it back! I got my money back! I got my money back! I got it back! I got it back! You mean it's been returned? Yes, it was sneaked back in my flour barrel. Well, glory be.
Now we can forget the whole sordid mess.
Yeah, well, we ain't forgetting nothing till we've dealt with the thief.
No, Beaudry. I'm sure Mary Shoemaker's learned her lesson.
Why do you say Mary Shoemaker?
Why, it's common sense. Yesterday, everybody discharged her. Today, nobody will let her work for 'em. And last night, the money was put back. That's sound logic.
Yeah, sounds logical to me, yeah.
Well, now, maybe her conscience hurt her.
Let me see those bills with us, Smithers. Oh, it's mine. It's
I
mine.
don't say they're not. I just want to look at them.
I ain't showing them to anybody. They're mine.
Say, if you don't want me to swarm all over you like a hive of bees, you better let me look at them.
Well, all right. But I'm going to keep hold of 1/4 of them.
How long did you say you had them?
Good 15 years.
Not those bills you didn't.
How do you know, Ellie?
Why, there isn't one of them over 7 years old. Look at the dates on them.
Do you mean that isn't the same money that was stolen from her?
That's just what I mean.
Then who did put it back?
I don't think that's any of our concern. The widow's got her money back, and that's enough. Now, let's all stop talking about it and go home. Come on, Ellie.
Think she's smart. Sticking her nose in other people's money.
Well, don't that beat all?
I've known all along that Mary Shoemaker couldn't do such a thing.
Then if Mary Shoemaker didn't do it, it must have been...
Judge,
Whoa!
what are you trying to do to me, Judge?
Nothing, August. Just trying to stop the persecution of an innocent woman.
Well, I'm the one who's being persecuted right now. People are talking behind my back, giving me the cold shoulder.
I'm right sorry about that, August, but I guess it's only natural, seeing as to how Mary Shue couldn't have returned that money.
Well, do you imply that I gave it back?
There you go with your implying again.
Judge, we've been friends a long time.
Yes, we have, August.
Well, then why can't we let Mary Shue take the blame for this affair? She's only a scrub woman, too stupid to suffer the way you and I would.
Mary Shue is a human being with a full set of feelings, the same as us, and has a right to the same protection. If we're so mean as to deliberately punish an innocent woman to protect ourselves, then the community we build up here doesn't mean a thing. Nothing good can come out of injustice, August.
But I don't mean to punish her. Just send her away somewhere, anywhere, so that she won't be around, people see her and keep on talking. I'll furnish the money, see that she's well taken care of.
Getting rid of her to look like she's guilty, which she's not.
Well, this talk about Hetty's got to stop. I want that woman out of town.
If they're talking about Hetty, you can blame yourself.
What?
Your topsoil needs turning, August. Haven't you tried just a little too hard depending on Mary Shue?
Then you actually accuse my daughter.
I accuse no one. There's been too much accusing, and it's high time you stopped it, too.
Is that your final word?
It is.
Then you leave me no alternative. Here.
What is it?
It's a summons in my daughter's suit for slander that I'm bringing against you for $50,000.
Tom,
Hello, Maggie. How's tricks?
not so good.
What's the matter?
Oh, it's a trial tomorrow. I'm worried because Dad won't have a lawyer. Every time I try to speak to him about it, he just says he can answer their fool questions himself, that all the lies in the world can't stand up against a straight answer. But I'm scared. Tom, you've got to persuade him to let you handle his defense.
I'm sorry, Maggie. I can't.
You can't? Well, why not?
Because I'm engaged to Hetty Houston.
Engaged?
Have been for some time. We've kept it quiet because, well, we just didn't want to tell anybody.
Then that means you don't think she's guilty.
Well, of course not. Why would Hetty want to steal? That's the craziest thing I ever heard of.
It's not half as crazy as you letting that vamp make you forget everything you ought to remember.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. Where would you be if it weren't for Dad?
So you're going to throw that in my face, too, are you?
After all he's done for you, it's your duty to defend him.
Well, I don't have to stand here being yapped at by a kid about my duty.
Superior Court of Tripp County is now open. Judge Elmer Carruthers presiding. Step near. State your business and you should be heard.
Hetty Houston versus Abner Weaver.
Are the parties ready?
The plaintiff's ready.
The defendant ready?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Where's your attorney?
I haven't got any. That is, I'm going to handle my own defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to look at this poor girl. Look at her carefully. Look at her drawn and haggard face, her nervousness, her reluctance to meet your gaze.
She ain't reluctant about showing her legs.
Silence. At one time, ladies and gentlemen, my client was a carefree, happy girl, loving everyone and loved by everyone. Now, as you can see, her health has been impaired.
and her whole future blighted by malicious gossip. Gossip that I will prove to you was started by the defendant, Abner Weaver.
Horse feathers.
Silence. I said silence.
And I said horse feathers.
Miss Gray, you are the Peaceful Valley telephone operator, are you not?
Yes, I am.
Will you please tell the court when you first heard that Miss Houston was accused of stealing the widow Smithers' money?
Well, it was on a Wednesday morning. I was at the switchboard listening to Mrs. Johnson talking to Mrs. Mulvaney about her baby. He'd swallowed a safety pin, and she wanted to know whether to give him some medicine to make it come up, or some medicine...
You may skip the preliminary details, Miss Gray.
Well, I was sitting there listening when Viola called me.
Viola?
That's me.
Silence.
But he just wanted to know what...
Silence.
You may proceed, Miss Gray.
Well, Viola was awfully excited, and so was I when she told me
Told you what?
that she just heard that Hetty Easton stole the money.
Leave her household.
You little blabbermouth. No! Silence! Just help me out, Judge.
And now, Mr. Mulvaney, can you substantiate Mr. Neal's testimony?
How's that?
Did Judge Weaver accuse the plaintiff of stealing at the church board meeting?
Accuse who?
Did he accuse Miss Houston?
I'd say he did.
That's not so, Patrick Mulvaney, and you know it.
You keep out of this.
Who's gonna make me?
I am.
Okay, I just want to know.
You bet he did. Wherever Judge Weaver went, the slander spread about Hetty.
That's a black lie. A double black lie.
Madam, I'm getting tired of these interruptions.
And I'm getting tired of these lies.
If you don't sit down and keep quiet, I'll have you put out of the courtroom.
Well, I'll keep quiet, but they're still lies.
Mr. Beaudry, would you say that the scandal about Miss Houston became the general topic of conversation in your valley?
I most certainly would.
Can you remember any specific instance that would substantiate your statement?
Yes, the day Cicero Weaver nearly shot my hand off.
Well, suppose you tell us about it.
Well, sir, there was a parcel of folks out in front of my store talking. Talking there was. And I went out to see what it was all about.
And, did you find out?
Yes. They was arguing about Hetty, Miss Houston, as being the thief.
And what did you do?
I disagreed with them. I was eating an apple at the time, and I held it up like this. And I says, you can take my word for it. Mary Shoemaker's guilty, just as sure as I'm a-holding this here apple.
Wait, Your Honor,
Bailiff, take the gun away from that man and throw him out.
You can't throw him out. He's a witness.
Court will recess for 30 minutes.
Court will recess for 30 minutes.
Hetty, you've got to call this trial off.
Why?
Because he hasn't a chance of winning the way things are going.
You mean you want him to win?
Judge Weaver never slandered anyone in his whole life, and you know it.
I thought you were on my side, Tom.
I am, but I'm on the judge's side, too. Can't you see what it would mean if you won a judgment against him? He'd lose everything he has.
But if I called it off, people would think it was because I was guilty.
Look, Hetty, I made a sacrifice in staying out of this trial. Now I'm asking you to make one and call it off.
Come on, Hetty. Court's about to resume.
No, Tom, I can't do it. Of course he did. I heard him as plain as day.
That's all, Miss Beaudry, and thank you very much. The plaintiff rests, Your Honor.
It's your turn now, Abner. Get up there and give it to him.
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I've been sitting there listening to the testimony of the different folks that got up in that witness chair. And I've been surprised and just a little bit hurt. It seems like they have forgotten the things that might have helped me and can only remember the things that won't. Of course, I'm not saying there's reason for a bad lapse in their memory. In fact, I hope there isn't. Because one of the hardest things to live with is a guilty conscience.
I object to the defendant's insinuation that the witnesses testified falsely.
Objection sustained. The jury will disregard the defendant's insinuations. Proceed.
I'm right sorry, Your Honor. I wasn't trying to cast any doubt about these folks telling the truth. What I was leading up to say was, so long as they spoke their pieces so emphatic, I don't see much use in me cross-examining them. So I'll just say this and sit down. I never slandered Hetty Houston or anyone else. All I tried to do was to protect an innocent old woman and hold together a group of folks who had forgotten the teachings of the Bible and was letting gossip tear them apart.
Have you no witnesses you can present in support of your contention, Mr. Weaver?
You bet he has.
Now, Ellie, my family here would gladly back up what I've said, but seeing as to how the jury don't believe me, I don't see why they should believe them.
Very well.
Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm Tom Martell, attorney at law in this state. With the court's permission, I would like to represent the defendant in this case.
I object. It's too late. This case is ready to go to the jury.
It's not too late. Have I the court's permission?
Is the defendant willing to have Mr. Martell conduct his defense?
If he wants to take a fling at it, it's all right with me.
Well, proceed, Mr. Martell.
I'd like to call Fred Neal to the stand.
Fred Neal.
What is your occupation, Mr. Neal?
I'm a farmer.
How have your crops been?
Well, pretty good this year, but last couple of years I took an awful walloping.
Gee, that's too bad. When you have a crop failure, Mr. Neal, how do you finance your next year's crop?
I object. What possible connection can a farmer's crops have with this slander suit?
With the court's permission, I'll show that connection.
Proceed.
When you have a crop failure, Mr. Neal, how do you finance your next year's crop?
Go to the bank?
Mr. Houston's bank?
Well, that's the only bank there is.
At present time, do you owe the bank any money?
Yes?
Very much?
Quite a bit.
By any chance, are you behind in your payments?
Well, when a fellow has a couple of years of bad crops, he's bound to get behind.
In other words, your farm, your very existence is dependent on the mercy of the bank. Isn't that so?
Object.
Your Honor, I'm only attempting to show that the witness could have been prejudiced in his testimony. However, Mr. Neal, I don't think it'll be necessary for you to answer my question. I think the jury already knows the answer. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Mulvaney. Then the only reason your house has not been taken away from you is because the bank has been lenient.
I object. What difference does it make whether the bank's been lenient or not?
It makes a lot of difference to the witness. That's all, Mr. Mulvaney.
That's telling them, Tom.
Silence!
Okay, Judge.
Mrs. Smithers, when you learned that Judge Weaver had prevented the church from giving you $50 because it would convict Mary Shoemaker, what did you do?
I did a lot of cussing.
Well, what did you say about it to Mrs. Weaver?
I said I'd get even with them.
Thank you. That's all, Mrs. Smithers. So you own a grocery store, Mr. Beaudry?
Yes, that's what I said.
Mm-hmm. Do you own it by yourself?
Well, not exactly, no.
I see. I know it's not common knowledge, but I want you to tell the court just who your partner is.
I object. This court is not interested in Mr. Beaudry's partner.
I think it is, because his partner is August Houston.
Your Honor!
Order! Order in the court! Judge Weaver, have you ever had any business dealings with August Houston?
Plenty of them.
Have you ever had any trouble with any of them?
Not a bit.
Are you sure? Think carefully.
Nope, August and I have always got along fine up till now.
In other words, nothing has ever happened to make you want to injure him or his family.
Nothing has ever happened to make me want to injure anyone.
That's all, Mr. Weaver. Ladies and gentlemen, There isn't a person in Peaceful Valley who can't remember instances of kindness, generosity, and help from Judge Weaver. You've just heard him testify that there never has been any bad feeling or friction between him and the plaintiff or her father. To commit a crime, a person must have a motive. And can anyone tell me what possible motive this man could have had to ruin the reputation of that young woman?
If you want a motive, I'll give you one. Jealousy.
Jealousy?
Yes, jealousy. Judge Weaver slandered my client to kill your interest in her because he wanted you for his own daughter.
Why, that's ridiculous.
It sure is.
Order. Order in the court.
Call Margaret Weaver to the stand.
Margaret Weaver, take the stand. Raise your right hand, please. Just solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Be seated, please. You're Margaret Weaver?
I am.
Miss Weaver, I want you to tell the jury that you're not in love with me and you've never entertained any thought of marrying me.
Come, young lady, speak up.
You're not in love with me, are you?
Yes, I am.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
State your verdict.
We find for the plaintiff, Hetty Houston, and against the defendant, Abner Weaver.
Oh, stop sniveling, Viola. You give me the willies.
Remember this field the first time we saw it, Elvira? Looked like we'd never get the stumps cleared off. Been mighty good soil. It's given me everything I could ask for.
Oh, don't take it so hard. Maybe there's another Peaceful Valley for us somewhere.
We're too old to start out looking for it now, Ellie.
Well, even if we don't find it, we've still got each other, and that's what counts.
Sort of sounds like old times. Me getting discouraged and you urging me on. That's going to get dark pretty quick. Guess we better get on with the loading. Well, Margaret, you didn't forget to tell Mary Shue we wanted her to go with us where we went.
She'll be ready. Dad, I feel terrible about this. It's all my fault. Only I'd lied when Tom asked me that question.
You did just what I wanted you to, honey. There's been lying enough already.
You stay here. Evening, Judge. Folks, Judge, I just had to come to ask you not to go away. For my sake, and for the sake of the valley. Why, we'd be lost without you.
I'm not leaving of my own choice.
Well, then you don't have to leave at all. Because I don't want this place, or anything else that belongs to you. Here. Here's the court order. Take it. Take it and burn it up, and stay here with us, where you belong.
Do you really mean that?
With all my heart.
What do you want from me in return, August?
Why, nothing, Judge, nothing. My only interest is to see this unhappy business forgotten. to see peace and friendliness in the valley again.
Those are good words, August.
Yes, they are, and Mary Shue will be glad to hear 'em, too.
Oh, yeah. Mary Shue. I want to speak to you about her, Judge. Now, according to law, my point has been proved, but some folks won't accept that. They'll never let this thing die out as long as she stays here.
So there was a price to your offer after all.
Well, I'm only thinking of the good of the valley, Judge. Wherever she goes, I'll see that she's well taken care of.
In my opinion, Mary Shue is still innocent. If I stay, she stays.
Well, I won't accept that as your final word, Judge. No. Now, you think this over till tomorrow morning. And remember, this paper's yours for the asking.
We'd better get on the loading.
I don't see why so much fuss has to be made over such a little thing.
Well, if the little thing hadn't happened in the first place, there'd be no need for fuss.
But to drive that poor woman out of town, we've won the suit.
Eddie, I'm sick of this subject. Sick and tired of it. Now, try to understand this. Most of the valley thinks she's guilty because we did win the trial. I trust you can see the advantage of that.
I see.
Good. Now, if you're troubled with any more pangs of, shall we say, sympathy, just remind yourself that as far as you're concerned, the case is closed.
No, it's going to be different around here without the judge. Won't be the same valley.
And all account of that Mary Shue. If it weren't for her, nothing like this would have happened.
Yeah, everything was all right till she stole the money.
Now she goes free and we lose the judge.
That's just it. Why should she go free? We don't want her kind around here.
No.
We ought to do something about it.
We'll never forget it as long as she's around here.
You're right. Then let's run her out of town, I say.
I'm for it.
Me too.
Yeah?
That's enough, Johnson. Come here. Now, listen, men. You're to follow instructions, just like we laid it out at the last meeting. Yeah. We'd better hurry up.
Bill, please don't do that.
Go home. Go on. Send home. Stay there. Remember, boys, now follow me, just like I told you. Come on, let's go.
Shoemaker, come out here. Come out here, Mary Shoemaker. Come out here, Mary Shoemaker. Mary Shoe! Guess she ain't at home.
Maybe she'd left town.
Wouldn't be surprised. I ain't seen her all day.
Me neither. Well, good riddance, I say. Here, get out of the way.
This is just so there won't be nothing left to remember about it. That's the way I feel about it, too.
There you are. I guess that'll show what we think of thieves in Peaceful Valley. Guess that'll show me.
Look, everybody, look. Here comes the judge.
Judge,
Mary Shue, where's Mary Shue? She's gone.
you mean you'll run her out of town?
No, she got away before we could find her.
Who started this fight?
We're just dealing out a little justice.
Justice. Since when has mop rule become justice?
What's come over you folks? You used to be peace-loving, tolerant, understanding citizens. What's come over you?
Look! It's Mary's dog.
If he's in there, then she's in there.
Look, David, somebody.
Too late.
Tom, what's the matter?
Mary Shoemaker's in there.
I didn't know she was in there, Judge. Honest, I didn't. I didn't know she was in there. I swear I didn't know she was in there.
Tom, is she...
I didn't know she was in there. Honest, I didn't.
Somebody get a doctor.
I'll go, Abner.
Through, boys. Let him through.
Look at her. Take a good look at her. Then maybe you'll begin to realize what I've been a-fighting for. When you put justice and honesty aside for your own convenience, this is what happened. I never thought I'd live to see the day that I'd be ashamed of the folks that I used to call my friend. But I am now, and if Mary Shue dies, God have pity on those who are to blame.
Oh, stop it, stop it. I can't stand anymore. It was all my fault. I stole the widow's money. I'm to blame for everything.
She doesn't know what she's saying. She's hysterical.
Yes, I do.
Don't pay any
I'm
attention
the
to
thief.
her.
I'm the thief. I stole the money, not Mary Shue.
You come with me.
Leave her alone, August. Go ahead, Hetty.
I know I should have told sooner, but at first it didn't seem important. And then it kept growing and growing until it got beyond me. But I can't keep quiet any longer. I can't. I didn't mean to cause all this trouble. All I wanted was to buy that evening dress. But I had to have it. But I was going to put the money back from my allowance until the widow found out. And then I got frightened.
Abner! Abner! Here's Doc Baker.
Let the doctor. Let him come in. See what you can do for a doctor.
I hope it isn't too late.
Well, Doctor, how is she?
She's just overcome by the smoke. Her burns don't amount to a thing.
Oh, thank heaven.
It ain't Hetty that's to blame for this, August. It's you. You and your high-handed methods.
Yeah, the sooner you get out of this valley, the better off for all of us.
Just a second, folks, just a second. Instead of running August out of the valley, I sort of feel like we owe him and Hetty a vote of thanks.
Vote of thanks?
Well, you see, there's nothing worse than folks who forget how well off they are. And that's just the way we was getting here in the valley. We've had so much of everything that makes life worth living, we were forgetting the things we were supposed to remember. And it took something like this to wake us up. Now that it's come out all right, I can only feel grateful towards you for teaching us all a mighty good lesson.
You're right, Abner.
He is right.
Supposing you take Hetty home, August, and tomorrow I know you'll be only too glad to start rebuilding Mary Shue's house. Then we'll start all over again.
Here's a pretty valley where the grass is always green and the waters from the Ozark Mountains flow. Where the mockingbird sings and the glory music rings in our happy little home in Arkansas. Come to the meeting, come right along. Let's raise a voice in happy song. It's the finest land around, it's the best that we have found, and we're happy in our home in Arkansas.